Hello, you nerds. I'm Mr. Five Halves, and I make more decks than I could ever hope to play. I keep looking at my stockpile of over 300 unbuilt decks, and I keep wishing they were real. I only have so many hours every week where I can play MTG, and only so many hours every week where I can spend time actually printing out these cards, cutting them up, and sticking them in sleeves. So I want to share the love. I want to share the ideas. I'm going to give you 5 halves of different decks. Each of these ideas is only half of a deck, so I felt it's only fair to include, 5 of them. And for my first attempt at a video like this, I decided to start with the basics. Or, rather, the non-basics. Start with the lands. Start with the stuff that everybody uses. Start with the stuff that everybody overlooks. What are you going to do with all these lands? Well, the first thing you could do is discard them. Yep, the first deck I'm talking about is a cycling deck. An Astral Slide deck, no less. I'm not sorry. Astral Slide, Astral Drift, and their weird cousin Escape Protocol all do funky stuff. Unfortunately, those cards require kind of a critical mass of other cards with cycling in your deck. Understandably enough, the card quality of cycling cards is not very high, because they kind of expect you to discard them. Thankfully, there's a whole bunch of lands that you can cycle instead. You can make concessions in your mana base so you don't have to make concessions in your actual card quality. There's 46 lands over 6 cycles that all will cycle, so if you're in more than 2 colors, or at least more than 1, then you should be able to build a pretty good mana base out of them, while still having the critical mass of cyclers necessary to support these cycling payoffs. Now, if you're going to be discarding a bunch of lands, there are a fair few creatures that you can blink, such as Pothole Mole and Tilling Treefolk, and maybe even Titania to get them back, because I know it doesn't feel good to pay mana to miss a land drop. There are also a fair few creatures that care about discarding land specifically, like Surly Badgersaur and Bone Miser. Hell, if you want to get those lands back eventually, not right now, then just play Ancient Green Warden or Crucible of Worlds or the one snake dude, I can't remember his name. It has a recommendation for which commanders to run. Hell, I don't know. There's Hazazon, the second one, who cares about playing deserts. There's Kiri, Talented Sprout, who gets you back 1 land per turn, but I don't know if that does it for you. Either way, there's a lot of different directions you can go with this. Secondly, what if you like having your lands in play? What if you like having only one of them? What if you like having multiple of them with the same name? Well, they gotta be legendary first. There's kind of a lot of support for legendary permanents, and people forget legendary lands are legendary permanents, so if something says legendary permanent, you can cheat out a land. Primeval Soulrace Rebirth? That's a mass land recursion spell. Kethis, the Hidden Hand, fuck that first line, he can just let you play lands from your graveyard. That is a Crucible in the command zone. There aren't very many 2-color lands that happen to be legendary, so you might want to not go 5 colors, but if you do, there's Sisay to run as your commander, who can tutor out 1 land for 5 mana. Ain't that nice? Or you can be cheeky as always and run the Giganthic Companion, but I don't know how viable that is, I don't know how useful that is, I've never done it. Regardless, there are a bunch of really good legendary lands that just happen to be cool, that happen to have other uses. One more mention of the commander is Kadric. That's a candidate right there. He can double your legendary lands if you really want to. Hell, you can even bounce them to do it again. It's not technically ramped because you have to pay 1 for each one, but it's not nothing. It's silly. No, it's never going to be good. Playing legendary lands just to play legendary lands is never going to be good. But it's gonna be funny. Teehee. What if you like your lands in all of the zones at once? I know I do. If you want to put lands in the graveyard, you can cycle them. If you want to put them into play, you can tutor them out. But if you want them in all of your zones at once, yeah, I've got a deck idea for you. There are a lot of ways to tutor lands in Commander, but some of the underrated ones have more restrictions than normal. Some of them only tutor forests, some of them only tutor for plains. And it is very important to note that there are some very important forests and some very important plains that you can play. Namely, there's Dryad Arbor, there's Gingerbread Cabin, there's Idyllic Grange, there's Sapsea Forest, and most importantly, there's Mistvale Plains, so you can tutor for them again. The linchpin tying all these things together is Karametra, God of Harvests, and cards with plain cycling and forest cycling. It's this very high level of consistency that's the important part here. The lands themselves aren't exceptionally powerful, but having access to them every single game could put in some work. Say you want to sacrifice your Lush Portico, tuck it back in with Mistvale Plains, search it out again. That's a free surveil. What if you want to do the same with Idyllic Range or Gingerbread Cabin? That's a free plus counter. That's a free food. With Dry Arbor, that's a free sack. Unfortunately, this is a little bit tied to the commander. There do exist a fair few plains cyclers and forest cyclers, but it certainly helps to have a commander that can do it for you. The commander of my choice is Karametra, God of Harvest. She is just a ramp machine. I know she comes down on turn 5, but if you're looking to search out the same forest 6 times in a row on 1 turn, that's your woman. Well, that's my woman, but same thing. As an extra layer of automatic redundancy, Wheel of Sun and Moon does Mistveiled Plains' job for it much better than it ever could, but it's not a land and it can't be as easily tutored. If you're looking for sneaky ways to get those lands into your graveyard or into other zones anywhere, there's World Breaker, Reaping the Rewards, and Pegasus Stampede to keep your sack outlets in your hand or your graveyard. Because I know having land sack outlets on the field is kind of just asking for trouble. Like, if somebody sees you sacrificing lands for profit, they're gonna think something's up, and if they can't get rid of it, if they have to discard your hand or counter your sack outlet, that doesn't feel very good, does it? And as one last cherry on top of this massive ramp cake, just stick a Panglacial Worm in there. Like, this isn't relevant or anything, I just think it's silly. That means every fetch you ever use is an instant chump blocker. Every land cycler you ever discard could be an instant 9/5. It's just silly. I've never made it work, but that doesn't mean you can't. Fourth is a deck that starts two trends I hope not to continue. Number one, it hinges entirely on the commander, Borborygmos. Number two, I stole it from somebody. But thankfully for number one, it's pretty funny, and thankfully for number two, I know the guy, go check him out, he's pretty funny. I like his videos, you will too. The only relevant bit of text on Borborygmos is the fact that he is 8 fucking mana, and he can discard a land card to deal 3 damage to any target at any time at no other cost. The gimmick here is just 80 lands, like just run 80 lands. The 20 non-lands that you can run are just card draw, card advantage, ways to get lands into your hand, or redundancy. It may not seem like the most interesting of decks, but trust me, this is hilarious. The way my friend has played it in the past is to hold people hostage. If you have 7 cards in hand, that's 21 damage that you can throw anywhere. Adding on 7 commander damage, that's 28 damage, assuming no blockers, which you'll probably be getting rid of. And on top of that, you can add the combat damage trigger, which has you look at the top 3 cards of your library and put all land cards revealed this way into your hand. That equals 9 more damage. And if you want to add the card that you drew for turn, if that happens to be a land, if you started your turn with 7 cards in hand and drew 1 more, that can equal 40 damage. That's just 40. Like, come on, man, that's crazy. And the way he would play it is he would hold somebody hostage. He would say, you know what, I can kill you at instant speed because you're below, let's say, 21 life. If you don't do as I say, you're fucking dead. And the thing is, it worked. It didn't work all the time, but oh my god, it was hilarious. I tried to make it work, but you know what? I'm a hipster. I don't find it very fun to use other people's ideas, so I did it anyways, and it's still hella fun. Go, use this idea for yourself. And keep in mind that there is redundancy. The card Land's Edge lets anybody do this sort of thing. Lightning Storm does it once. Seismic Assault lets you do it forever and ever. And Ayula's Influence kinda just... it's not the same, but bears are bears and bears are fun. Lastly, for one last trend that I'm not such a fan of, but you know what, I kinda have to, it's silly. There is a strategy that relies entirely on Universes Beyond cards. You like Maze's End? Do you like mono black? Guess the fuck what? Maze's End is viable in mono black ever since Wizards decided to print the Black Gate from some Lord of the Rings set. I don't know, pay attention to those. It is mandatory. There are exactly 10 gates that are within the black color identity to make this work. And unfortunately, throughout my many iterations, I have not found a way to make them work. They do work, they just don't work well for me. I'm still trying to search out 10 gates in one game and win in mono colors, and this is the only way I've found out how. There's the obvious redundancy of Vesuva, Urza's Cave, Thespian's Stage, and the 2 Mimic artifacts. But beyond that, mono black doesn't have very much support for this, so I urge you to go out and find your own. I know there's not many cards on screen that can support this, but isn't that the fun part? Enjoy.